The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the May 29th, the terrific Thursday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. And let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. Now, the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I do want you to know that I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here. But more important than that, and that's this. During this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to send me an email. Send it off to steve@tfnn.com. Inside the subject line, please put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, then any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on Terrific Thursday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Well, we do have a bit of a rally going on right now inside the U.S. equity markets. I say a bit because the Dow's up 90 cents. The S&P is up 23 bucks. NASDAQ 100, 107. Russell's up 90 cents as well. Transports are up 32, semis 48, NASDAQ composite 139, New York Stock Exchange up 11. Gold is up 17 bucks, trading out at 33.40. Silver's up 22 cents, 33.38 is the print there. We're down 81 cents in light sweet crude, off 10 pennies in natural gas. High grade copper is basically flat. 30-year Treasury is up 18 ticks. Nothing of real significance on the daily time frame with regard to TD9 count signals. Here we've got the charts here for the NQ, and you can see on the bottom right, you've got the 30-minute time frame for the NQ. So the NQ has put in a TD9 count bottom. It did that at its breakout level of support. What should unfold is price should rally up towards its oscillator and change line, towards the bottom of its profile. So its price target is somewhere between 21,640 and 21,679. That would be the upside target. If price were to close below the bottom of its TD9 count pattern for the 30-minute time frame, that low being 21,380.50, odds favor that we move lower out there. Let me just switch over and take a look at the daily time frames first. We can always come back to this. In fact, we will take a look at some intraday charts out here. When we start with the daily equity future contracts, in overnight action, when I finally got back to my phone, back from dinner, or was looking at the screen, I was like, what the heck set that rally up? It certainly wasn't NVIDIA and Salesforce or anything yesterday, although that didn't hurt. But it was that news for that international court blocking the current administration's tariff policy on the reciprocal piece of it or what have you. But what's interesting here is we take a look at these charts. If you take a look at the daily time frame, ES, NQ, Dow, YM, and the Russell RTY, each of them found resistance where those sellers reside at the top of their profile. 21.2340 for the Russell 2000, 42.716 for the Dow, 59.67 for the ES Mini, and for the NQ, it's 21.544.15. That's what you're going to watch today. If price closes above that level, that would put it in a full breakout mode and would suggest that we move higher out there. What else can I share with you here? If we do get bearish reversal candles for the ES and the NQ, that would trigger a Rhodes momentum indicator top. Then we would join the Dow equity future contract with regard to its topping signal out there. The Russell 2000 is actually trading below profile support, but it is trading just above its oscillator and change line. So the key level to watch here for the Russell 2000 today is going to be 2069. If we see a close below 2069, odds favor that price wants to go retarget because it's already tested and rejected it, and that would be the TD9 count breakout level at 1977.40. So what we have going on right now basically is a consolidation with inside the daily profiles, with the exception here being the Russell 2000. So that's what's going on there for the daily time frame. If we take a look at this is kind of interesting. If we take a look at the equal weight charts here, we have equal weights for the Qs, for the S&P, and for the Dow. QQEW is the ETF for the Qs. I've got both the daily and weekly. RSP for the S&P 500. I have both the daily and weekly. EDOW for the Dow. Now, what you should notice here when you take a look at the daily time frame, if I put the SPY, the Qs, and the diamonds up on my screen, what we're not going to see is TD9 count tops. So now we may see that for the diamonds, but we wouldn't see it for the S&P, and we wouldn't see it for the Qs. The equal weighted ETFs typically point the direction, the true direction of the market. Well, you have a TD9 count top with a consolidation in QQEW. You have a resistance at 131.82, support at 129.32. For the equal weight for the S&P 500, 178.75 is your resistance level. Support, which is being tested right now, is 175.89. In the case of EDOW, it's 36.52, that's support, 37.22, that is resistance. Now, each of these, the daily time frame, have topping patterns, TD9 count. Well, turns out that last week what transpired is the weekly time frames for each of these formed sell the D point tops, each of them forming bear sash candles out there. That confirms you can see the A to B equals CD pattern that I have drawn in here. So we've got tops in the equal weighted ETFs for the daily and the weekly time frames out there. But also at this stage here, all it's led to is a consolidation basically with inside its profiles out there. So you'll want to keep an eye on these equal weighted charts out here. What else can we go take a look at? So why isn't the market moving too much? I'm actually going to close this chart out here. I just tried to close out some of the charts that to free up some space here, make things go a little bit smoother. What we're going to do right now in a moment is go take a look at the Spot VIX Index and the New York Stock Exchange Advanced Decline Oscillator. Where are those signals pointing us? So where did Stevie put those? Didn't I put them out? Here we go. So on the left-hand side, what you're going to see is the advanced decline oscillator. You'll see that we closed back below the zero threshold level yesterday. We had popped above it the day before. We're still trading below it today. What does that mean? When price is below the zero threshold level, that tells us that sellers are the ones that are in control of the general market. So this is emulating or adding to the idea of what we're seeing inside the equal weighted ETFs out there. By the way, New York Stock Exchange has a wave number 7, top that's letter G. Price is trading below its oscillator and change line. That increased the odds of a move lower. You've got a TD9 count bottom pattern in the Spot VIX. Of course, that ran right up into resistance, being both the 50-day exponential moving average, which is currently printed at 22.87, as well as its TD9 count breakdown level at 25.62. With the price still below the 50-day exponential moving average, that's why that's set to a bullish reading. New York Stock Exchange Advanced Decline Oscillator set to a bearish reading. That's why we're seeing a choppy sideways market condition. How long that's going to last? I don't know. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Let's get to the requests that have come in so far. The first one coming in from Tony. Wants to take 2 instruments. First one being IONQ. IONQ is going to complete a daily TD9 count topping pattern today, Tony. What that suggests is that, and it's also formed a new profile. So profile resistance is at 48.94. Profile support is at 39.27. Price at a minimum should pull back and at least test the daily oscillator and change line. That's at about the 41.85 level. That number is going to change slightly lower should price move lower out there. But more and if price is able to move below that level, then 39.27 becomes the number. Now, if price were to close below 39.27, you'd be looking to move all the way back to its breakout level. That's courtesy of the TD9 count pattern, and that would take you to 32.23. The weekly time frame chart is going to go ahead and confirm a TD9 count top tomorrow. It will complete that pattern next week. Now, the top may be in, the high being this week. It could be next week, but because you've got the daily TD9 count top, I would say more likely than not, the top is in for the moment. Now, what should take place on the weekly time frame chart is price should pull back and test its oscillator and change line, currently printing in around the 36.30 area. So you're not going to get to 36.30 or 36.29, whatever that number ends up being, unless we close below the bottom of its daily profile. 39.27 being that key number that you're going to want to watch. Now, in the case of the monthly time frame chart, we don't have any kind of a topping pattern. We just have price getting basically back towards the top of its profile. That's where the sellers exist at 49.89. We've actually gotten up to a high of 48.94 out there. So close enough to say, okay, you're up at resistance on the monthly with a weekly TD9 count top, a daily TD9 count top out there. You should expect and anticipate a pullback or retracement. Now, even if price takes out the TD9 count top, in order to do that, you need to see a close above 48.94. Even if it does that, Now, that would be bullish, but you're still dealing with that weekly TD9 count pattern that doesn't complete until next week out there. Price is traded into a weekly swing point. That's the swing point from January 10th. That has volume out there of 248 million shares. Last week, we moved into a 211. So later volume, obviously, we have a shortened trading week this week, so you've got to do kind of the straight line math on it. We're only at 71 million shares as we speak right now. So I would say, Tony, anticipate and expect at least some type of retracement. Hopefully, 39.27 holds should price get back to that level, the bottom of its daily profile. Your second request was a take on ATAI. So let's pull that up on our screen out there. ATAI does not have a topping pattern for its daily time frame. Price is traded above profile as well as its oscillator and change line. That suggests it wants higher price. Well, higher to where, Steve-O? If we look at the weekly time frame, we can see that price is traded above the center of its bullish structured weekly profile. That's a level which at 206 where a counter trend rally would have come to an end if it was only a counter trend rally. Well, we're at 233 right now. So this tells us, one, it's not a counter trend move. Two, that price should go target 257. That is the top of its weekly profile. We are trading above the top of its monthly profile, so that is a bullish signal. What the monthly chart really needs to do is close above February 2025's high. Why? Because it was just simply a bearish shooting star candle. That sets up a resistance point at 257. Interesting. So you got the weekly profile, 257. You've got the bearish shooting star on the monthly base at 257. That's the magic number. You'd love to see price close above that, Tony. If that unfolds, you got to stay long and strong. So that's where price is likely headed to. Hope that helps you out. And as always, thank you for your request. Tom G., also an early bird this morning, wants to take a look at NVIDIA. So who doesn't? NVIDIA out with earnings overnight. NVIDIA is in the process of negating a TD9 count topping pattern. In order to do that, it just needs to close above 136.35. Let me make sure of that. It is 136.35. We're at 141.15. So therefore, the daily time frame is in a full breakout bust them up mode. Where does it want to bust them up to? Well, the next profile resistance level is 146.89. That is the top of the monthly profile. I suspect that is where NVIDIA is headed to. Now, there is a Rhodes momentum indicator signal that is present. That is only an issue, Tom, if you were to see a bearish reversal candle. We don't have that as we speak. On a daily time frame, this is just day number one to the upside. We only had a 1 week move to the downside. That was last week out there. NVIDIA is strong like a bull, and that ain't no bull out there. So that's what's going on with it. You also wanted to take a look at Tesla out here. So let's go pull it up. Tesla also in a bullish mode out there. We've been covering that here for a while. Let's go take a look what Tesla is doing. When I say covering it for a while, because of the daily and weekly bottom patterns that we're in there. You got a nice Rhodes momentum indicator bottom for the daily time frame, TD9 count bottom on the weekly time frame. In the case of Tesla, Tesla is taking it on a TD9 count breakdown resistance level for its daily time frame. That number is 362.30. We're at 362.80. Closing above 362.30 would be a bullish outcome. What happens if price doesn't close above it? Did we close above it 2 days ago? Let me see here. Just curious. That close was 362.89. We did close above that. So we've already closed above it. We're trading above it now. That's suggesting that Tesla, that's a real positive sign, Tom. Again, 362.30 is the number you're watching there. That would suggest we want to move higher. Move higher to where? Well, we just have to look over to the weekly time frame, see the TD9 count bottom, know that we're trading above its green oscillator and change line, know that we're trading above profile resistance. That opens up the door. The TD9 count pattern, as I mentioned, is really the hidden gem out there. Price should go target over time for 33.20. We look at the monthly time frame chart for Tesla. We're trading above profile resistance. We are trading above its oscillator and change line. So again, every signal here, daily, weekly, and monthly for Tesla, is suggesting that it should head higher. So, Tom G., hope that helped you out with both NVIDIA and Tesla. As always, thank you for writing in. Christy wants to get in the game and would like to take a look at SMCI. She is looking for an entry point out here. That entry point may be right now. Why do we say that? When I look at the daily time frame chart, what I do not see here, Christy, is any kind of a topping pattern. What I do see is price consolidating with inside its daily profile. This morning, price got down basically and tested that level. That level being 41.16, we got down to 41.15. Price is also testing its green oscillator and change line. As long as price remains above 41.16 out there, we're trading at 41.75. That, in essence, would be your entry point. So that may have already come and gone. Now, what I don't know is whether price will take out 47.80, the top of its profile. And what happens if price closes below profile support? Well, and at that stage, it could be signaling to us that what price wants to do is move lower. On a weekly time frame, all I have out here is a consolidation pattern. From an intermediate term standpoint, because we've not busted through the consolidation, if you would ask Stevie, where's the entry point, I would have to say it's right around the 35.08 area. That happens to be its oscillator unchanged line. I'm not saying that price will get down there. I don't know whether it will or it won't. Well, what I can share with you, odds would be increased that it would get down there if you saw it close below 41.16. But there is a swing point here. And that swing point was from the trading day of May 23rd. And the price closed below 39.11 for whatever reason. That would trigger an A to B equals CD pattern to the downside. The monthly time frame shows that price ran into resistance this month at 47.46. That is its oscillator and change line. So you got some resistance, 47.46, 50.15 out there. But on the daily time frame, your entry point is basically where we're at right now. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry's been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Trader's Edge is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. You got the Dow trading up 31 points. S&P's up 27. NASDAQ 117. Russell's up 4. Dow Transport's up 40. Semis are up 57 points out there. How about that hockey game last night? You know, it doesn't matter whether you are a Panther fan or not. If you just enjoy hockey, you got to love the play of Barkov out there. He's the captain of the team. And that play in the third period with just a couple minutes to go, you know, what an extraordinary, you know, I've watched it I'm a big hockey fan, as most of you know, and really appreciate, you know, the skill set of all the great players that have been out there. You know, those guys that are able to just simply dance on their skates, have the strength to be able to fight people off. You know, I mean, it was just, I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, maybe turn on SportsCenter or watch it. Just extraordinary talent that the team has, but certainly, you know, he is a leader for sure. He is one heck of a leader. I watched him playing even more closely when we had that tournament between the 4 different countries out there, Canada and whoever else was playing in it. And you know, he is just such an impressive player out there. So I'm hoping. You know, nothing against Dallas. I know Edmonton. Tonight's game is Edmonton-Dallas. Edmonton's ahead 3-1. I believe they're playing in Dallas tonight. My favorite, and then those of you who watch that, you'll also maybe agree with this. You don't have to like the Canadian national anthem. I actually prefer it over the U.S. national anthem as anthems go. But you love it. You got to tune in. Unfortunately, you won't see it tonight. But if we do get another Edmonton home game out there, you've just got to tune in to listen to it. It's 22,000 people or 23,000 people, whatever fits into what's the name of that center place? In any event, it's the coolest thing out there. I wish we had that in our country where everybody came together and sang like they do. In any event, let's get back to the markets out here. Let's get back to our next request. That next request coming from GTE wants to take a look at ticker symbol ASHR. What I can share with you here, so this looks like this. I know you're big into China stuff out here. You've got a TD9 count top on the daily time frame. Prices trading below its oscillator and change line, as well as profile support out there. So that suggests that price should make its way back to 26.19, the TD9 count breakout level. The weekly time frame, price is trading below its green oscillator and change line, so it's lost momentum. Adds the idea of pulling back to 26.19. And the monthly time frame chart is dealing with the sell zone. The sell zone for it is between the level of 25.80 and 26.51. You're trading at 26.65 as you speak right now. So that's what we see when we take a look at Asher. You also want to take a look at the emerging markets ETF, EEM out here, with the U.S. dollar index kind of trading sideways to lower. That's put some energy inside of EEM. As we take a look at the daily time frame, it's just running into resistance at its oscillator and change line, so it's losing its momentum. That doesn't mean that its move to the upside is over. In fact, prices trade above profile resistance at 45.30. That would be support on any kind of a pullback. I've not seen a signal of a pullback, but if the U.S. dollar index begins to trade higher, right now we're just consolidating, I believe, with inside its profile out there. If it does begin to trade higher, that should put pressure on the emerging markets. The weekly time frame remains bullish. Trade above its green oscillator and change line, trade above profile resistance. It's trading into its swing point from the trading week of October 11th. That trading week did volume of 171 million shares. 2 weeks ago, we were into it 118. Last week with 101. This week, obviously, short trading week, we've got 61 million shares. So now it's still just trading inside that swing point. And now, because it's up there with lighter volume, that does not mean that it needs to go tackle the high. If, in fact, price were to close below that swing point, which is 45 53, you could get a test and rejection of that swing point with lighter volume. That would suggest lower price. Finally, we take a look at the monthly time frame. It's a TD9 count top. In order to negate that signal, you need to see it close above its high. That was September of 2024. That number being 46.95 out there. So price is dealing with resistance. The TD9 count breakdown resistance level at 46.78. Moving into the weekly swing point with lighter volume, and the daily time frame has lost its momentum. So that's what we see at GT when we take a look at ASHR and EEM. Hope that helps you out. Duncan Steve wants to change things up today. Instead of looking at SOXX, we're going to go take a look at the SMHs. The two have different holdings, different weightings for those holdings as well. So one is not the same as the other. In the case of the SMHs out here for its daily time frame, we do not have any kind of a topping pattern out there. Although I take that back. We have a sell the D point top that formed on May 21st. And if price closes above that high, that's a bear separation line, that high being 248.58, that would negate that signal, and that would suggest that we move higher. The move higher would be to 259.63. That is the weekly TD9 count breakdown resistance level. Because we are trading above profile resistance at 235.67, odds favor, and we're trading above its oscillator and change line. It's red, not green. Green is more bullish. Red is, it says it still has work to do. Nonetheless, if the TD9 count top gets negated on a daily time frame, price should then target 259.63. We can see the monthly chart. Price has rallied right into that oscillator and change line. That's where it would find resistance. So far, it has done that. In order to clear that resistance level, that would be tomorrow, the end of the month, price would need to close above 247.94-ish. That number would change a bit if price were to rally higher. So on the daily time frame, you got to sell the D point top. The weekly is just waiting for the daily to figure out what it wants to do. The monthly has come to rest at its oscillator and change line, Dunk. You also want to take a look at Amazon, the amazing one. So let's go pull up its chart, see what it is communicating to you and I. AMZN. Right now, this is printing out at about 206.20. We take a look at the daily time frame chart out there. What do we see? Well, I see a consolidation with inside its daily profile. That's between 199.35 and 214.84 out there. Do I see a top? I could draw in most certainly an A to B equals CD pattern out here. It wouldn't be starting with the swing point from April 7th. It would have to start with the swing point. See if I can get this to work for me. The swing point from April the 21st. So I'll draw the A to B line. Then I'll just simply move that over to the C point. I'm assuming that's at least a 0.382 retracement. And you can see that would then generate that sell the D point top. So let's go with that, the more conservative approach, with a consolidation with inside its profile. Again, 199.35 to 214.84. The weekly time frame is trading above. It's in a breakout mode. It is trading in above profile resistance at 202.39, and it's trading above its oscillator and change line. As long as price remains above this oscillator and change line, currently at about 200.79, it's telling you that intermediate term wise, price should rally. And on the monthly time frame, price, if it can close above its oscillator and change line tomorrow, and that's at 205.29, we're at 205.97, that would be a bullish outcome. It suggests to move to 242.52. It's all about the daily time frame chart, Steve-O. You need to take out that sell the D point top. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back. 214.84. That's the number you're looking at.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstad's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. Let's get back to the requests that have come in. We're taking a look at GM here. This is for Nicholas, who says you've got a $47 call that expires tomorrow. I think it's T9 count 8. Bar number 8 today. Wondering if sell today or hold till tomorrow. So here's what we can share with you with regard to GM for its daily time frame. And that is not that we have any kind of a topping pattern, because we don't, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't topped. We just don't have one of Stevie's topping patterns. What price did yesterday was a close below profile support, and profile support is at 48.42. We are trading below profile support today. Again, at 48, we're at 48.23, 48.42 is the number. It is bar number 8, but it needs to poke below yesterday's low, whether that's today or tomorrow. It would need to poke below yesterday's low to potentially form a TD9 count bottom pattern. It also has to close below bars 4 and 5 and so forth, as part of that signal. But since your expiration is tomorrow, we're trading below profile support. Yeah, I'd pull the trigger right now. I go ahead and close that out on a weekly time frame. So that's because you've got this option trade. What if you are just simply holding the position? Well, what price is doing, it's also pulling back into a gap. This gapped up on the trading day of May 12th. It did it with volume of 13 million shares. Yesterday, you moved down into that gap with 8 million shares. Today so far, 2 hours of trading, 2.7 million shares, so about 7.5 million shares. Again, that's going into a breakout that had 13 million shares. Now, price has not filled that gap. In order to do that, it needs to at least touch the high from May 9th, that high being 47.97. Out there. So if you were still long, I would stay long out there, and I'd watch to see if it closed that gap and then bounces out of there, and it maybe even forms that daily TD9 count bottom pattern. The weekly, as I mentioned, is testing oscillator and change line support, and that's at the number of 48.06. If you close below that, you get into its buy zone. The buy zone would be between 46.63 and 47.56. Just a monthly consolidation between profile levels there at 43.42 for support and 52.33 for resistance. So, Nicholas, hope that helped you out with regard to your question. As always, thanks for your request. Rye writes in and wants to take a look at TNGX. So let's take a look at TNGX, which is trading right now at 258, trading with inside its daily profile. fairly large, fairly balanced, meaning the center is pretty much in the center. When I say fairly large, I'm referring to support at $1.26 on the daily time frame, resistance at 281. That's a pretty large set of profiles. Now, price remains above the top of its daily profile, remains above its green oscillator and change line. Those are bullish conditions, right? That suggests that price should rally up towards 281. What happens if it closes above 281? Then it's going to get to 306. 306 is the weekly TD9 count breakdown resistance level. We are trading above 217. That's the top of its profile. So if we close above 217 tomorrow, well, that is a beautiful, that would then add to the idea of what we looked at in the daily time frame. We run up towards 281 to 306. Now, the monthly time frame has triggered bar number 8. The issue with that is that first, price needs to close below, which it should do tomorrow. It needs to close below 298 or 260. That'll go ahead and give you bar number 8. The problem is that next month, in order to get a TD9 count pattern, you would have to close below, so you'd have to retrace. You would have to close below 207. In order to trigger a TD9 count bottom. So the monthly, I don't really have a bottom pattern, but it suggests that price might want to rally up towards 353. So how do we take a look at TNGX? Bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. Right now, bullish on the monthly. We are trading above last month's high. We haven't seen that take place on a monthly basis for TNGX. We have to go all the way back to August of 2024 out there. So if you're long, Rye, I would stay long TNGX. Let's go take a look at TSHA. That is for Dude Inside the Tiger's Den. TSHA is trading at $2.78. Here you have two daily topping patterns. The first one being a TD9 count. The second one being a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. That doesn't make it, any stronger of a top. Yesterday, price closed below the bottom of its profile, 252. Apparently, that was a false break to the downside because we're back inside that profile. The range of profile, support at 252. Resists at 303. Of course, we know 252 didn't hold yesterday, but it certainly is holding today. On the weekly time frame, I don't see any kind of a top. What I do see is price getting back towards the CD9 count breakdown level, and that's at the area of $3.25. Last time we were up there was back in December 6th. Price found resistance at that level. We traded last week into that swing point. We had volume last week of 21 million shares, moving into the swing point that had 27 million shares, so a little bit light in the loafers to take that level out. Nonetheless, we remain above its green oscillator and change line, and we remain above a profile resistance, so a signal that it wants to rally. But if we give way to 273 for two consecutive sessions, instead what price will do is pull back towards 215. Monthly time frame chart, price trading with inside a bullish structured profile suggests that price wants to make a move over time up towards the 371 level out there. So daily's got a top that hasn't been resolved. In order for that to be resolved, you need to see a close above the TD9 count top and a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, and that would be a close above $3.24. So dude, I hope that helps you out with regard to TSHA. You wanted to also take a look at VUZI out there, VUZI. VUZI is trading at about $3.08. The daily time frame for VUZI, I do not see any kind of a topping pattern. Let me pull this back a bit further out here. In fact, I take that back. If we close above the high from 2 days ago, 2 days ago's high was $3 even, Steve. We're at 308. Then you would negate a sell the D point topping pattern. We had a nice little dark cloud cover yesterday. That set up the sell the D point top. We close above that today and negates that signal, suggests we want to move higher. That is what the weekly time frame chart is suggesting. After forming a TD9 count bottom, maybe about 2 months ago, probably around April the 7th, what we can see here is price is now trading above the top of its weekly profile, 266. Trade above a weekly green oscillator and change line. That says 482 becomes its target. So if you negate the TD9, the sell the D point top on the daily time frame, VUZI continues to head higher. If it doesn't, then we've got an unresolved top. Price could pull back back towards 255. That would be the first target. Second target, 231 out there. Monthly time frame chart, we are trading above last month's high. We're going to close above it. We're going to trade close above profile resistance. Over time, price wants to go target the 533 level, the TD 9 count breakdown resistance area. So far looking pretty good for VUSI. The magic number, it's not 306 where we're trading right now. The magic number is closing above $3 even Steven out there. You do that and you are likely to head higher with VUZI. So dude, I hope that helps you out. As always, thanks so much for your requests. We got through all of the requests that I know of, at least here. I will just look back through. No, I don't see. Can you look at CDE and CEP? That's for Dennis in West Palm Beach, and the answer to that question is absolutely. So I'll get those charts set up, and that's what we'll look at when we come back from this break.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. Kevin writes in and asks, we're going to see a summer pullback out there. Kevin, go watch yesterday's show, if you will. I'm going to show the chart here real quickly. It's the S&P 500. It's a 97-year pattern. It shows that the sell in May cycle begins around May 7th and ends May 25th. And that price rallies up into the September timeframe. So whether we use just the typical 97-year or we use the post-election cycle pattern, which is where we're at right now, this says we don't top until maybe about August. But I did a little bit more detail work on that yesterday. If you go watch that, you'll get your answer. If we take a look at CEP for Dennis, this has got a Rhodes Momentum Indicator topping pattern that formed on May the 2nd. Right now, we've got price trading with inside its profile. That range is 23.26 at support and 43.53 is resistance. On a weekly basis, you've got a resistance level at 44.96 and support at 25.24. Not a ton of data out here for me to analyze for you, but those profiles should assist you. If you close above the top of those profiles, you're likely to rally further. But we do realize on a daily basis, you've got a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top out there. Your second request was to take a look at CDE. CDE is trading out at 823. The monthly chart looks like it's going to go ahead tomorrow and negate a TD9 count top. The beauty of that is that says that over time it wants to move up to 1114. The weekly time frame chart is trying to form an A to B equals CD pattern to the upside. The swing point has volume. It's September 27, 38 million shares. Did we close above it? We closed above with 110 million shares. You have a confirmed very large A to B equals CD pattern to the upside. I can't calculate it that quickly out here, but know that 1114 is a very likely target. No topping pattern on the daily time frame. The last thing we're going to take a look at is Pfizer PFE. This is for Alton out here. Pfizer has got resistance at 23.56. It has real support at 22.15 on the daily time frame. That's its breakout level. We're trading below resistance on the weekly time frame, which is 24.71. Support is around 22.97 out there, and that's what I've got for you. Folks, stay tuned for all the great programming. I'll be back with you tomorrow on Fantastic Friday. Please have a terrific Thursday. Be safe and take care.